you are really known for, even in my book, something I think is dynamically needed and not often addressed when it comes to this idea, and I'm air quoting, success. And that is understanding what is significance, that every definition of success is different, and that the way that God biblically calls us into success looks wildly different than the way that the world experiences it. Can you share a bit about that movement? You've been doing it for many years now, so much so that you've even had impact on people like John Maxwell. You're doing partnership work with him now. I want to know, like, what does that mean and where was it derived from?
It was derived from me doing it wrong long enough to finally get hit by that, 2 by 4 in the forehead of like, "Man, this isn't the right path for me." So, I've been, doing what I do now for 12 years. I started my business, as a business advisor, really focusing heavily on helping small business owners, entrepreneurs grow and scale their business, and I was really passionate about that. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My mom is still in business today. My dad recently retired in his 70s. My grandfather worked until he could no longer work, excuse me, running his business. And I was blessed to just grow up working, answering phones, and doing things like that in all of their offices. So I really was entrenched and steeped in the beauty and the flexibility of entrepreneurship. And then I became passionate about the idea of like, okay, well, I'm watching all of these incredible people who are so good at what they do, and they're so ethical in how they do it, and they're so clearly led by this, by the Holy Spirit on this path, leveraging their business as a vehicle to live out their calling. But I didn't like that none of them had freedom. They all had flexibility, they didn't have freedom. So I got really
Mm.
passionate about, like, how can I help these small business owners? Because I have such a heart for small business. I think it's just the heartbeat of our nation and so many other nations. I just want it to thrive. How can I help them scale so that they have more freedom, not just flexibility? So I became very focused on that. But what I found was every single entrepreneur I was serving and mentoring and working alongside at some point was capped by themselves. Like, they were capped by their own leadership, they were capped by their own limitations, and by their own, needing to unlock their potential. And I found that if I could focus more first on helping them go from like busy entrepreneur to a visionary leader and really unlocking that potential and really listening to, okay, not only what is God calling me to next, even if it's crazy and it makes no sense to the world, like you say, um, and what are the innate gifts that I often ignore because they're so innate that
Mm.
I think little of them, that I am under leveraging, that God has blessed me with, like a fingerprint, like it is unique to me alone. And how do I focus in on those things to really unlock the possibility within my business? And so we do kind of a hybrid of the leadership, that unlocking that innate possibility and potential alongside strategic business scaling and strategy, so people can really shift from that like busy entrepreneur seat to the visionary CEO seat, where they're able to thrive and do more of what makes them come alive and what moves the needle in their business, what does give them more freedom, but also makes them feel satisfied at the end of each day because they know they're living out their calling.